Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan and thanks for joining us for our Tuesday update for May the 30th. Well, a windy westerly is about to arrive in New Zealand, classic autumn weather. The warmer northerlies that were coming out of the subtropics, that's it there, pushed out to the east. Now the windy westerlies from Australia are about to arrive, and with it a classic cold front, afternoon downpours with thunderstorms coming into New Zealand along that western side. Although the further north you go, the more you're up around that high pressure zone, and so not as much rain for the top of the country as the bottom part will get. And speaking of that high, bringing settled weather to a large part of Australia, cold nights at the moment, but warmer weather is on the way. Let's kick off with the rainfall map for the next 3 days here in New Zealand. Now, we get a complaint about this every single day, the key, so let me explain again. If you see blue next to green, it's the bottom of the scale. If you see blue next to pink, that's the higher end of the scale, the bigger rainfall totals. So blue next to pink in the South Island, you're talking 200 millimetres or more as you go into that lower half of the island. But as you go further up around Westport, 70 millimetres expected there. You get to Farewell Spit, it's about 40 millimetres, 30 for Taranaki, and then you get into Waikato and Auckland, bottom of the scale, just a few showers coming through. Could be some heavy falls here and there today, but generally speaking, the rainfall not as high at the top of the country. Similar story to eastern areas as well. They are also looking mostly dry. And if you still find the key confusing, just go to our websites, Weatherwatch and ruralweather.co.nz. They've got localized rainfall totals for you to look at in number form. Now here's a departure from normal maps for Australia and New Zealand, maximum daytime temperatures today and tomorrow. And what it's showing you is a large portion of Australia and New Zealand warmer than average, but the area I'm most interested in, this area here in red for Western Australia for today, that is 4 to 8 degrees warmer than average, and that expands all the way out across into parts of New South Wales and Victoria by the time you get into Wednesday. For New Zealand, you can see that westerly change lifting up the temperatures in the east, 4 to 8 degrees warmer than you'd normally see. And a similar story on Wednesday, although the North Island maybe not quite as warm. And the yellows you see there, a couple of degrees above average. It's arguable whether many of you would notice that or not, but you probably will. It's just a degree or two warmer than you'd normally see. So let's get into the forecast. Now, you know about the squash zone. We talk about that all the time. The halfway mark between low pressure and high pressure when they get squashed together and it makes for windy weather. Well, here is a gigantic squash zone. It's not the one that you normally would expect with the nor'easters. In fact, it's a westerly. So high pressure centered up here around Brisbane, low pressure, deep low pressure at 957 down here in the Southern Ocean, halfway mark, Tasmania and the South Island of New Zealand getting clipped by those very windy westerlies, which are going to be around all of this week. So you can see on Wednesday, the rain on the west coast, just a few showers for the top of the country, and a similar story here, most of the rain on that western side of Tasmania. As we move through to Thursday, still the western side of Tassie getting the rain, a few showers for Melbourne, won't be much though. And here comes the next cold front for New Zealand. So still raining on the west coast, a few showers further to the north, and eastern areas are mostly dry. You might get a shower or a brief spit of rain spilling over from the ranges. But on Friday, that cold front moves up the South Island. Temperatures drop on Friday ahead of the long weekend, King's birthday weekend, which sounds probably as weird for you to hear as it is for me to say. But you'll see a burst of rain or showers, probably showers for the North Island on Friday. There might be a thunderstorm or a heavy downpour as you get that sort of mix of warm and cold. Eastern areas are mostly dry, but the winds do turn a little more southerly here. So Banks Peninsula and Otago Peninsula might see a little bit of wet weather. Now on Saturday, the high from Aussie moves closer to New Zealand, but that means more of a southerly flow. So temperatures are down on Saturday, not necessarily too stormy or unsettled and not overly wet, but a few showers are in the mix and the temperatures are down. And over here in Australia, that warmer wind is still blowing through as it moves further out to the east, and a few showers around for you. By Sunday, temperatures lift up a bit in the South Island briefly as the nor'westers arrive ahead of an incoming cold front. And with that high pressure zone to the north, it keeps the North Island mostly settled on Sunday. The windy conditions don't really even get up to Cook Strait until the end of the day, but look at this. Similar to yesterday's map, which showed a storm just east of New Zealand, today's update pulls it back brings the air pressure up a little bit as well, but still clearly showing a burst of severe weather around New Zealand for Monday of next week. So I think by tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be in a position to sort of lock in what is happening on Monday. Certainly by Thursday of this week, I think we'll be in that position. So seeing low pressure, stormy conditions around here, and also the placement of that southern high encourages a much colder southerly to come through. So this could be our first proper southerly of the year, but we still need another day or two to confirm all that. That's all from me. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again on Wednesday with our next update.